Hello everyone, my name is Trevor Lynn Owens, and welcome to Peacekeepers Episode 3. Fuck yes!
We're finally back. Hello, everybody.
Hey, and we got some music in the background too. It's non-copyrighted stuff, but even though I'm uncomfortable with doing this, I'm gonna do it anyway, because Lucas wanted us to. But hey, we're finally doing it, and guess who we have with us? We have Sonic Ninja, who won our art contest months ago, and is now a member of Peacekeepers.
Yeah, welcome.
Yeah. It's really been a while.
Yeah,
it really has, man. It really has.
No shit. And we even have Zay here, which we were looking for guests, so we needed Zay.
Hey everyone.
Sup, Zay. Yeah. And as you all know, I am the Octahedron, your esteemed host. One of your many favorite hosts, but I know you all love me more than everyone. Psych, nah. I know you love us all. Show equal love to everybody.
But before we get into everything, I feel like we should talk. I should say an apology. We're sorry that we haven't put out episodes in the past few months, or communicated with all of you for the past 2 months. We pretty much had to go through parts of our lives to do personal things and all this other stuff, and also I was in the works with Lucas on the Adventures of the Amazing Spider-Man, so that's also another reason why things haven't been so fast lately. But anyway, we're back. We gotten through some stuff. We got everything going together. And we even have plans for the future, like even years into the future. But hey, that's another story. So we're back here to reminiscent on the past few months. So here we go. God, I don't remember the last few months.
Well, what I remember clearly is the fact that Squid managed to find, or quote-unquote unearth, a very, very, very embarrassing tweet of mine. Oh my god.
Oh, so yes, oh yes. Major
W, huh?
Major fucking W. God.
I was laughing for like a good 5 minutes because of Trevor's laugh. It was like so contagious.
My laugh is really bad. I'm not gonna lie.
Nah, dude, it was contagious as hell.
Yeah.
I don't know. Every time I hear my laugh, I just feel embarrassed. I just feel embarrassed for some reason. Oh, voice crack. I'm sorry.
Nah, you're good.
Yeah, we've all
it happens to all of us, you know.
Yeah, but
no shit.
How about I start things off with like a quick recap of like the events that have took place within our community?
Oh, sure, go ahead.
All right, so for those of you that are in the loop on Twitter, at least in our community, lots of stuff went down in which I myself actually took to make a very, very frequent threads on various individuals that have either said or done completely uncalled for things, extremely inappropriate things. For example, there was the incident with Spidey Senses U, also known as Hawaii Matthew. That situation has already been dealt with, but for some reason he made another account. I can't remember the username, but I know he's still on Twitter.
It's like sorry to bother you, I think.
Yeah, I think it's something like that. But
Hair to Lord Vader.
It used to be Heir to Lord Vader, but now it's just something else entirely.
Sorry to bother,
Yeah, it's completely ridiculous. He got called out for multiple times, and I'm not sure if he's still active, but that's another story altogether. Then I made another thread on Mikhail Spider-Bro, which I felt I felt kind of remorseful about making it because, like, you know, we initially needed his help to take down another individual named the Parker Press 9, which is a completely long story altogether.
Oh yeah, and then that ended up turning into a front for him to turn his backs on us. Which, for one thing, when you're in the Peacekeepers, that's a privilege for the good of mankind. You don't just throw that away.
That's true. Exactly. Like, first and second of all, we don't tolerate support towards racist behavior. I'm talking about a specific individual on Twitter. I'm not going to say who, because I'm pretty sure you all know who I'm talking about at this point.
Oh yeah.
All right. Yeah. We called this person out multiple times in the past, and just recently he actually tried to excuse himself on his behavior yet again.
Oh boy, I bet that didn't go well.
Oh, it did not, and I'm planning on making another thread on him soon. And Mikhail again, because a few days ago Mikhail actually messaged me trying to defend this individual, And I didn't tell you guys about this until now, because it was actually really starting to get on my nerves, and I figured I'd deal with him by myself. And this all went down while I was in school, by the way. All right, so it was really, really fucking annoying. And we just went really back and forth intensely. I threw a couple shots at him about how he's fake as hell. He threw a couple shots at me about how I'm apparently childish. I'm like, so what if I'm childish?
Childish?
Like, I mean, I can't act childish at some points, but like me, like what I'm saying isn't uncalled for, because like this individual just like he shows no remorse. Like every single time that he seems to apologize for his mistakes and his actions, a few days or weeks or even months later, he'll just talk about how, oh, it was all a joke. I was just doing it for tests to see if I was getting any feedback to my tweets. Or, oh, it was just a joke. I didn't mean to offend anybody. Blah, blah, blah. It's just a joke.
So he's basically, so it's basically like the dark side Phil effect.
Yeah, pretty much. And he even went as far as to try to slander one of my mutuals, one of our mutuals, actually. I think you all know him well by the name of Raza.
Raza, yes.
Raza, buddy.
Yes.
Venom himself.
Rise.
Venom.
Venom shills rise up.
Knock,
But,
knock,
yeah.
let the devil in.
Aside from that,
Rise.
Mikhail he was basically just saying that he was just there to like defend his friend, but for all intents and purposes, while I respect that decision, the way that he approached me was basically, what the fuck did you do to this person? I'm not going to say who it is, because you all know who I'm talking about at this point. But, yeah, then afterwards, he wouldn't leave me alone. Then for some reason, he needlessly brought up Spider-Punk, another individual that I know, a friend of mine, actually, and basically said that he did the same thing that this other individual did, which is make racist remarks for quote-unquote tests. And I'm basically just like, that's a straight-up lie. There's no way that that's true. I know you're making that up because I've never seen Spider-Punk say or do anything racist on Twitter. Right?
Well, it's just that he said that Black Panther only became an Oscar nominee because of its black cast, and then people got mad.
Yeah, but that was recent. I'm talking about like way back when like the other individual like said and did racist things to other people. And
Oh yeah, I never
like
seen
yeah.
Punk say any of that.
Yeah, no one has. Like, are you kidding me? So he basically just tried to lie about his friend like that, and basically he took advantage of the fact that Spider-Punk recently deactivated.
Yeah, that sucks.
Yeah, he tried to slander him. So then afterwards, he needlessly brought up the fact that he had to study for something, and then but then he just kept bothering me, and I just told him to leave me alone. And then he's all like, what's the magic word? And I said, study, and then I blocked him for a while, because like I literally just could not take his shit anymore. This guy is such a syphilitic parasite. In the words of Robert Downey Jr., a syphilitic parasite. And he's fake as hell, too. I've said this before. I made a thread on Mikhail, like I said. This kid, he seems to act genuine, but like the moment that you even try to do something, or even say something that even implies that you disagree with him at some moments, he'll just snap on you. He'll snap on you, and he'll just become so enthralled with himself and his beliefs that he'll throw anybody under the bus, including us, the Peacekeepers, just to make himself look good in front of his friends, which is what he did with me and Jess, and everyone else here in this podcast, just to look good in front of the Spidey Squad.
Yeah, like when you and Mikhail pretty much just said, hey, you know what, let's put aside our differences and actually work together. That was like character development. That was like finally.
Yeah, it was actually kind of heartwarming.
But then that goes down the toilet.
Really quickly.
Really quickly. He did that the moment that I tried to defend Jess. And then afterward, he started talking shit about me in DMs, like with various members of the Spidey Squad, including Spider-Punk.
Oh,
and he didn't tell me about this, but I'm not going to hold this against him, because I'm pretty sure he was just, confused. He was just a bystander. He didn't want anything involved with the drama. So I left him out of it. But Jess showed me the screenshots, and what he said was basically just like, don't listen to Octahedron. He wants us to believe his lies. I'm just like, what is there to lie about? You're an asshole.
Believe in his lies.
Don't believe in his lies. Oh, man. But yeah, like, overall, I don't know if I'm really going to make another thread on Mikhail, but I am going to make another thread on this other individual that I mentioned earlier, the one that I'm talking about. Like, should I just say his name already, or is it just needless to say it at this point?
That's up to you. I don't care if you do.
Yeah.
I mean, yeah, this guy, I'm just going to call him by
Joe. Let's just call him Joe.
Joe.
Yeah,
Joe.
That's the normal alias name or something.
Isn't it John Doe or something like that?
Yeah.
I'll just call him. I'll call him Joe. But you guys already know who I'm talking about at this point. Like this guy, my God. And then afterwards, he expected me to accept his apology for his behavior. But when I apologized for some bad shit that I did a few nights ago, I'm not gonna say what because it's actually kind of vulgar.
Embarrassing.
But kind of embarrassing because like.
Trust me, I've made mistakes too. Like, in my 2016 years, I was a fucking asshole. So. Yeah.
So was I. Everyone was. 2016 was a terrible year for everybody.
Oh, yes, it fucking was.
Dude, a ton of people died. Holy shit.
Jesus.
But that's not the topic. Going back to the subject. Basically what I did to Joe was that I posted a picture of himself, which he claimed was an invasion of privacy, even though another person used that photo publicly, right?
Mm-hmm.
You're following? And Joe basically just said that I had to ask permission to use that photo, even though I had to ask for permission, even though that photo was already public in the first place. Like what? Like Sonic was there when that all went down. Remember?
Yeah.
We were talking with him. Yeah, dude. Like. Since when do I need permission to use something that's public? Like, dude, I can save that photo and use it for whenever I want. I even gave him an explanation as to why I saved it, because I was going to make a meme using that specific image. But he didn't believe me, and then afterwards I tried to show sincerity by deleting the post that I used to mock him, because I knew that it wasn't in good spirits. I knew I had bad intentions with it, and I felt sorry for him. So I deleted said post, and I gave him a sincere apology. But then he claims that I was half-assing it, and then afterwards he expected me to forgive him for his racist behavior, even though he backpedaled like a few hours earlier.
Oh my God.
So this guy is he's got double standards, pretty much. High double standards.
Yeah, no shit.
Like and pretty much the only reason why I got Snap the last time that I called him out on his shit was because Jess got involved. And she found out about his shit. And she just completely snapped at him and just told him that she didn't want anything to do with him anymore. But crazy thing is, she still talks to him. At least to my knowledge.
That's a bit hypocritical, I must say.
Yeah, it is a bit hypocritical. And, like, I don't want to call her out rudely, but, like, it just confuses me, like, as to why she still chose to, like, associate with him after everything that went down.
Who knows? Maybe it's personal. Who knows? Maybe it's personal business or something. I have no clue.
Yeah, probably. But like, since Joe decided to take back his apology by saying that the racist remarks were all quote unquote tests, I told Jess about it, and she basically said that she was going to make a threat on him this time around, which is mind-boggling to me because I didn't see any threat just yet. But I'm guessing she's taking time to collect sources, and I was trying to collect sources for her, like screenshots as well, but I never really found the time to because I was kind of busy with schoolwork and a bunch of other personal shit that I don't want to get into. But the whole point is, Joe is not inherently... I'm not going to say that he's an outright evil person.
No.
But he's not an inherently good person either. Like, he just... And I really feel like I want to say something, but like at the same time, I feel like I shouldn't. Because I feel like I've already gone far enough, and like I know something about him, and it's kind of embarrassing.
No, let's not drag him on the road further.
Yeah, let's not delve into that.
That's true. I mean, he's already kind of a corpse on the side of the road anyway at this point. So I've already dragged him through the mud enough. But anyways, yeah, you guys already know who I'm talking about when I say Joe. So you viewers, if you're on Twitter and you know who Joe is, send him a big ol' fuck you on my part. Unless you don't want to.
I got an idea.
Yo,
I got an idea. Send him a picture. Send him a picture of the letter L.
Oh, I'm blocked.
Actually, yeah. That's
he
funny.
blocked me like last week.
He blocked you.
Despite all the crap I've said to him, he's never blocked me for some reason.
Yeah, me either.
he blocked me for like one day, like a few months ago, and then he just
blocked
unblocked me
people
for some
like
reason.
Raza and Malt over the slightest disagreement, but then all of a sudden I'm the one who's like calling him out on his crap for long periods of time, and I haven't been blocked once.
Probably because he saw me as a pawn, right? He saw me and probably a bunch of you guys as pawns too, because like I'm pretty sure his whole goal was to manage to like get us to pity him by making it seem like I tore his best friend away from him, Jess being the best friend in question. But yeah, he basically, I'm guessing his whole entire end goal was to try to get us to pity him enough to like, so that we'd basically just forgive him. And then he'd think that he'd be off the hook, so that once he actually is off the hook, he'll find some other way to backpedal without us knowing. So that didn't work out so well, because I found a screenshot like a few days ago, basically him saying that the racist remarks were just quote unquote tests to see if people were seeing his tweets. And there's like, who the fuck would say random racist remarks towards individual people? Like, there's even a screenshot of him calling Raza the N-word, hard R and all.
Oh,
right?
That's disgraceful.
Yeah, it is, and he's trying to pass that off as a test. Dude, it was a reply to somebody. What? Like, are you kidding me?
The fuck?
And like this guy, he's like, I don't know if he's like my age or like a year younger than me, but if this guy is my exact age, I'm really just gonna be so disappointed in myself, because this guy is gonna be part of the future. He's gonna be part of the future. Yeah.
Like, trust me, I know there's some people out there that are just absolute shitbags, and they're part of the future too. I'm not surprised.
I mean, it doesn't really surprise me. It just scares me. So, like, what if he tries this shit with other people? Oh, were you gonna say something, Squid?
No.
Yeah, say something. Say it.
No.
Made it. Venom joke.
Come on, dude.
Nothing.
Alright, yeah, are you sure?
Squidward.
Alright, I got you.
Alrighty.
Alright, but in conclusion, to shut off this topic, don't associate with Joe, because like this guy is just really, really, really hypocritical, egotistical, and he'll throw. I'm not gonna say he'll throw anybody under the bus, because that's Mikhail. But this guy, he'll basically try to manipulate you into sympathizing with him, only for him to throw all those efforts to make himself look good under the bus, just so he can retract a statement that was already retracted months ago. Yep. Like, this guy is such a clown, man. Like, I cannot believe. Like, why would anyone act like this? Well, why?
To boost numbers, maybe? I have no clue.
I've done I'm not gonna say that I'm perfect on Twitter, because like I've made mistakes too.
No,
I own up to my
nobody's
mistakes.
Perfect. That's what makes us human.
Exactly, but this guy, his actions, the way he handles himself, just makes it seem like he's far less than human.
Yeah, there's a fine line between imperfect and problematic, and he's kind of just been problematic.
And there's also a fine line between problematic and borderline idiotic. And at this point, I'm not even sure where he falls between that line. I don't know if he's in between.
Oh, well, yeah. He is old news, so it pretty much doesn't matter at this point.
Yeah, but like in conclusion, just, I don't know, the next time you see him, just drop a little L right below in the reply to one of his tweets. Drop a L on our regard. To remind him that he's a bit of a loser. And not to say that I'm not a loser. I'm quite the loser myself, but nowhere. I'm just gonna say it right up the bat. I will never.
Scientist myself.
Boy, I was trying to get my name. I'm the biggest loser.
Hey, but like, you know what? At least we'll all live with the fact that even though we're losers, we'll never stoop to the point of calling people the N-word unironically.
No.
And expecting people to not criticize you for it.
No. So anyway, anybody want to talk about movies or games or something?
Sure. Let's talk about the Resident Evil 2 remake.
I got an idea. Anthem.
Oh, Anthem.
Oh yeah, sure. Anthem. That broken game.
Oh yeah. Dude, people can't even get in the fucking game because there's an infinite loading screen.
That's
Oh,
Faces are shifting into different realities.
I remember
That's
watching Critical play the game. Oh fuck, another voice crack. He was playing the game, and after like hours and hours of not being able to get in the game because of an infinite loading screen, he decides to fucking play chess with his friend while the game is in the background. And then after that, once he finally gets in the game, it's just not worth it at all when he goes to Resident Evil 2.
Wow.
Oh man.
That's actually kind of tragic.
Especially for
Yay.
especially for BioWare, like
Sure.
BioWare was known for putting out like excellent stuff like Mass Effect. But I don't know. After that ending to Mass Effect 3 6 years ago, things changed.
That's true.
Oh, fucking hell.
Are you guys hearing any background noise on my end?
Oh, it's probably just the music.
no, I can't even hear the music.
No.
Yeah.
I'm talking about me. Do you hear anything from me? Any background noise at all?
No, not at all. Not at all.
Oh, okay,
Fine.
good.
But anyway,
'Cause, like,
actually, since we're about to go to Resident Evil 2, just to switch very quickly, since my dad was actually a huge fan of Resident Evil 2 and the remake came out, I actually have a plan for his birthday.
oh, that's cool, dude.
Wait,
You're gonna
I-
get in the game?
I'm actually, yeah, I'm gonna make a birthday cake for him from Resident Evil 2 as well,
Awesome.
if I
You're
can.
done, dude.
Yeah, I'm going for that.
That's good, dude. Like, you gotta show your pops some love at some point. That's the perfect way.
Yeah, it is.
So, yeah, about the game, we've been hearing like a lot of good things about it. I personally haven't played it myself.
I haven't.
It's
yeah, neither have I.
It's been a while since I've actually played a Resident Evil game because the last game I played was Resident Evil 5.
The last one I played was Resident Evil 7, and every time I boot that game up, I always just boot it up in VR mode.
That's awesome.
I've never played
Yeah,
any
no,
of those
so-
games before.
Well, if you want to start with the series, start with you can start with any game really, just either 7, 4, Revelations, whatever.
I want to get like the remake, but like I'm broke.
I mean, technically, we're all kind of broke here too. So,
No shit. We're
Yeah.
the broke
Wait, wait.
gamers.
oh boy. But yeah, guys, I've also seen a couple of my mutuals on Twitter talking about how good the remake of the game is, and people have already begun with the memes.
Oh yes,
So-
remember. I remember the Mr. X memes where people.
Oh my God.
People put "gonna give it to you" from X Dawn, I think, over him running to Leon and Claire. It's absolutely hysterical.
Dude, it's hilarious.
Yes, it is.
Mr. X pissed me off though. He really did. But yeah, in short, if you guys want to go check out Resident Evil 2, the remake, of course, just go get it at your local.
Local
I'm
games.
guessing your local game. I don't want to say GameStop because those guys can be hacks at some points, but
Yeah.
GameStop is like bleeding to death.
Oh yeah. Sponsored by Capcom.
Jesus.
No,
Well,
we're
By
not.
the way,
No,
happy
no.
2-year anniversary since we heard something about Square Enix's Avengers project.
Oh yeah.
Cancel.
Honestly, I don't
They
expect.
say the time of heroes is over.
I seriously
My
don't.
grandkids will see that game.
I seriously don't expect that game to ever get fucking finished ever. That's
Yeah, it's officially urban legend status.
Yeah, and plus Crystal Dynamics and Eidos probably moved on to other projects.
It probably focused on Kingdom Hearts 3, probably, though that's
Okay.
already out, isn't it?
Yeah, I think it is. Here's my theory on the whole Avengers Project fiasco. My theory is that because Square Enix and Crystal Dynamics had ambitions that were too high, and the fact that they described it as a cross between Infamous and Uncharted in terms of action, dude, obviously that's going to be way too much to render on consoles.
Oh
Right.
yeah.
So Something tells me that they knew that they weren't going to be able to meet their expectations or even come close to exceeding them. So my guess is that Marvel Games actually pulled the plug on the project, and we just haven't gotten anything ever since. Because like, dude, seriously, when you're trying to make a game that's supposedly described as a cross between Infamous and Uncharted in terms of action, along with using licensed characters that are known for doing crazy shit, like, dude, it's the Marvel Universe we're talking about, right? So obviously, it wasn't going to work out.
Oh, yeah.
So
Yeah.
I have a theory too. Like, since it was like 2 years when the game was announced, and since was being developed by Crystal Dynamics and Eidos Montreal, I have a feeling that something went wrong with the game, and the team probably moved on to Shadow of the Tomb Raider afterwards.
Probably.
Yeah. And also, kind of explains why Shadow of the Tomb Raider sucked, because they were trying to work on 2 games at the same time. Maybe, who knows.
Also that could also explain that.
Yeah.
And it's also kind of really disappointing to like know that we'll probably never get the Avengers project at all, considering the fact that there were heavy rumors circulating throughout the industry stating that there was going to be some sort of connection between that and Marvel's Spider-Man, which would have been really awesome. Because like for the Avengers project, assuming it was going to have a story take place in the same universe while Spider-Man PS4 is going on at the same time, that'd be pretty fucking insane.
Yeah, although if it was, they'd have to be on like the other side of the world.
Exactly. Which would have been awesome.
Yeah, it would have been cool to see like a little reference to the game, like maybe a news broadcast of what was going on at the time.
Or maybe like like a news broadcast basically just talking about how Dr. Octopus unleashed Devil's Breath upon the city. That'd be awesome.
Speaking of which, what happened to that fantastic announcement?
Dead.
Oh, I already made like a different theory on that. My theory is that since it has to do with the Fantastic Four, I'm guessing the content is going to be DLC related, and that we're actually going to get to fight Doctor Doom, or probably some other Fantastic Four villain, but definitely not Galactus. I doubt we're gonna get to go toe to toe with Galactus as Spider-Man, because like, come on, there's only so much that Spider-Man can do, but he cannot go toe to toe with Galactus one-on-one. No way. Like, are you kidding me? But it's either going to be Doctor Doom or Mole Man. That's my bet. Probably Mole Man.
Honestly, I was expecting to just like add a costume or maybe the Baxter Building.
The Baxter Building would just be too much. That'd
be
like,
they would have to like rearrange all the buildings to put it in.
Exactly. Plus, that might cause major problems with the game's loading time. Assuming that the Baxter Building might be a little bit more complicated to construct. Besides, we don't even know what it's going to even look like. Is it going to have a unique design? Like, who knows? Because like its design has changed over the years, and so far, like Fantastic Week has already ended, right? It has.
Yeah.
And we still haven't heard anything about the supposed
DICE. It's
content.
at DICE in February.
What?
What?
Where Insomniac is gonna be. It's gonna be at DICE.
It's gonna be at what?
It's the
DICE.
The DICE Summit or whatever it is. I don't know.
Oh yeah. But speaking of Marvel Spider-Man, Brian Intihar basically just came on Twitter and just basically flat out said that he already turned in for the first draft of the story for Marvel Spider-Man 2. So that's good. I'm excited. I can't wait to see Venom being done in that universe, along with the Green Goblin. Really waiting to see how it turns out. I just hope they don't make Harry Venom, because like if they do, dude, you better do it right.
Ultimate Spider-Man cartoon all over again.
It's pretty obvious, I will say, Leo.
Yeah, but I just want them to do it like right this time around, instead of just basically doing what the cartoon did, what the Ultimate Spider-Man cartoon did, just giving him the symbiote. Like, oh, here's Harry with the symbiote. Oh, let him be the Black Spider-Man for a while, instead of making Peter the original wearer of the symbiote, and just make him Venom for some reason. Nah, I want story-driven motivations as to why Harry will become Venom. Plus, we know that Eddie Brock exists in the Insomniac universe of Marvel characters. Because, like, you know, if you guys remember collecting that one, like, I'm guessing it's Get Well Soon or something. Like, no. It was like a farewell card from.
Yeah, when he left the Bugle.
Yeah, when Peter left the Bugle. Like
I kind of was hoping that the garbage guy that Peter was talking to at one point in the game was also Eddie Brock, but that's probably just a coincidence.
I have no clue.
Either that or it was a cute little reference to Edward Trash Brock Jr. in Spider-Man 3.
The Trash Brock.
Excuse me?
You want forgiveness? Get religion.
Parker, you're such a Boy Scout. When are you gonna give a guy a break?
Spider-Man 3 is undoubtedly funny when I'm rewatching.
Yeah.
It doesn't deserve as much hate as it gets. Like, are you kidding?
No.
People just probably took it too seriously, especially like the whole walking down and pointing at people part.
Yeah, you mean the finger guns?
Yeah.
That was.
I mean,
I was laughing my ass off.
I can understand why people took it too seriously because, like, after like the seriousness that was Spider-Man 2, they were probably expecting something along the lines of something better than Spider-Man 2.
And because Spider-Man 2 sets such a high standard.
It really did. It did. And I'm guessing, however, Sam Raimi's first mistake in Spider-Man 3 was replacing the original actor that was meant to play Eddie Brock in Spider-Man 1. I'm guessing his name was R.C. Everbeck or something like that. But he was originally slated to play Eddie Brock in the first Spider-Man movie. In the Bugle, right? And I'm guessing, like, his scenes got cut entirely. So I'm guessing Raimi was going to save him for down the line. But for some reason, he decided to replace him with Topher Grace, which was a completely stupid decision. But
I didn't really have a problem with Topher Grace as Venom. I just didn't like how he was characterized as Eddie.
Me neither, honestly. I don't have a problem with Topher Grace himself. It's just the material that he was given. Like, I feel like he could have been a great Eddie Brock if they just gave him better material to work with. Plus, he didn't even call himself Venom in the film. But in the novelization of the movie, he did. So, that was just a completely missed opportunity. But yeah, I still enjoy Spider-Man 3. I definitely think that it's better than Homecoming.
Venom.
Oh yeah, Homecoming's just boring in comparison.
I mean, yeah, like I know that there are stakes in that movie, but like it's not really that eventful in my opinion. But it's okay. It's okay. It's okay for a first outing, but I'm expecting Far From Home to be a lot better. A lot better.
Oh no.
Yeah, it seems a lot bigger in scope too.
Yeah.
In scale, yeah. So I have very high expectations for Far From Home. So I'm not expecting it to be on the same level as Into the Spider-Verse or Spider-Man 2, but I'm at least expecting it to be better at Homecoming.
And Jake Gyllenhaal looks pretty good in that bubble head.
He really does.
Yeah. Hey,
but
hey, Danger, what's up? What's up, Danger?
Yeah.
Oh boy. But yeah.
All right.
Oh yeah, Spider-Verse.
So-
that was also amazing.
That was fantastic. It was a great way to cap off 2018 for me when I was going to see movies. I've seen like 10 fucking movies this year. No, last year. And Spider-Verse was a great way to cap it off.
It really bugged me how much Sony posted like the best parts of the movie online to promote it.
Well, here's
Yeah,
a
they
here's
can
a
spoil
thing. Here's a
all
thing that
together.
Sony does not understand. Marketing spoils.
Marketing done wrong spoils, actually.
Yeah, I'm pretty sure I heard that they're not doing the marketing for Far From Home, so we're probably good.
Yeah, they better not.
Thank God.
If they know what's good for them, they better not.
It's like you grab a box of those Far From Home gummies, and like the last shot of the movie is on the back of the box.
What if that actually happened?
It probably will.
God.
I mean, what's weird is that everyone's so focused on Mysterio and the Elementals, but no one's talking about the fact that Chameleon could end up being in the film too.
Yeah.
Like, because there was like an actor casted as a character named Dimitri, and to my knowledge, there's only one character in the Spider-Man mythos named Dimitri, and that's Chameleon.
Well, that's
So, and
Oh,
plus,
yeah.
he was basically the first supervillain that Spider-Man ever faced, like ever. So I'm excited to see what they'll do with him, assuming he's actually going to be in the movie.
I don't know if he's like actually gonna actively be a threat. I'm guessing he just might be built up, or he just might be after credit scene fodder.
My guess is that he's actually either he's going to be an after credit scene fodder, or he's going to just fulfill Shocker's role in Homecoming and just like be a side villain to Mysterio. Basically, just working with him, the Master of Illusion and the Master of Disguise.
Probably. I don't know.
Yeah, I can kind of picture that.
So,
but
since... Oh, wait. We're still on that topic. Fuck!
yeah, it's alright. I'm almost done. What's weird to me is that I know that Michael Keaton is going to be returning as the Vulture.
Probably,
but
obviously.
We haven't seen a single mention of Michael Mando as Scorpion. And I was expecting him to be in the sequel, because, even though he's in prison, I expected him to be broken out somehow. But I'm guessing that's
Apparently Liz is returning in Far From Home too.
I don't know how that's going to make sense. They didn't
Maybe just an illusion or something.
Yeah, it seems like the case. But yeah, I was expecting Scorpion to be at least like a side villain for Far From Home, but I'm guessing he's going to be in the post-credits scene. He's going to be broken out alongside Vulture. That's my guess. By someone. I'm guessing it's either going to be Norman Osborn or Otto Octavius. Otto Octavius seems doubtful, though. But yeah. Norman Osborn definitely seems more like it.
Probably.
There's a lot of things we could do, actually.
Because, like, in the Far From Home trailer, because, like, you can see Spider-Man swinging, like, right past Avengers Tower, and it's being rebuilt. So it's either going to become the Baxter Building or Oscorp Tower.
I hope it comes Oscorp Tower.
Same here. Can't wait to see what they do with this version of the Green Goblin. Hopefully they'll give him a more accurate-looking costume. No disrespect to Raimi Green Goblin. I like his look. The armored look.
They better not make it like a monster like they did in Ultimate.
I mean, I wouldn't mind that if it's done properly. Like, give him the classic look first, then let him inject himself with more Oz serum or whatever it's called, and then he becomes the Ultimate version. Like, let it become like a sort of like evolutionary process.
Yeah, I kind of like that idea.
Yeah, that'd work better. That's how I do it. Alright, let's switch gears.
Alrighty, so, a couple of months, no, not months, but, God, 2018 was pretty much a year that Tomb Raider was going to conclude, and I was ready for the conclusion of the series, and I was like, fuck yeah, this is going to be awesome. But then when I finally play it, it was much worse than what I expected.
Oh my god.
Like, you know how the series tried to set up Trinity? It went fucking nowhere.
What?
Yes, the build-up for Trinity for the past 2 games never fucking went anywhere.
Are you...
And Laura doesn't take down Trinity, nothing happens, and they pretty much just get relegated as a side villain throughout the game.
Yeah, as a Sonic fan, I know the feeling of plot points not being built upon, or just the entire thing being disappointing.
Well, there's some sort of Trinity leader as the villain, but as a whole, it just doesn't feel as in scale. Even though there's like big battles at stuff at the end of the game, it just doesn't feel right. Like,
it kind of reminds me. It kind of reminds me of. Yeah, it kind of reminds me of the first Amazing Spider-Man movie, where where the marketing made it seem like
the untold story.
Yeah, the untold story of Peter's parents, like, would actually be glossed over. Like they would go over it in the movie, but once the actual movie came out, they barely went over it for like 5 minutes.
Yeah.
And then the sequel tried to elaborate more on it, but then it just made things more confusing.
No shit. Like, Rise of the Tomb Raider, it's not a great game, but at least it told a somewhat alright story. This game, though, it felt like it was the start of something big, but then it turns into a village rebellion story, and then it turns into a gigantic war against this an undead thing, and Trinity. That's pretty much it. All to stop the Mariah apocalypse.
It also reminds me of Infamous Second Son, like how Sucker Punch was basically going to reinvent the franchise after Cole McGrath's death in Infamous 2. Spoilers, by the way.
Thanks for
But,
spoiling Infamous for me.
Oh well, yeah. I mean,
Oof.
the game's been out for like almost a decade.
Yeah, I
So.
know.
But yeah. Basically, since Cole is basically he's basically no longer part of the living. They replaced him with a new character named Delson Rowe. Obviously, everyone knows who he is at this point if you're an Infamous fan. But they basically just said that they were going in a completely new direction. And the moment that Sucker Punch announced that they would try to make this game appealing to Xbox fanboys as well, no joke, that's literally what they said. They would try to make it appealing to competitors.
That makes no goddamn sense.
I'm just like, why? Because like, they basically said that they knew that Xbox didn't have that many good exclusives, and since Second Son was going to be one of the very first PS4 exclusives, they figured they'd give Xbox players a chance to basically purchase a bundle pack of Infamous along with a PS4 console or something like that. I can't remember, but
that's cool and all.
So I was really hyped for Second Son, right? Reasonably so, because I love Infamous. I love the universe that I built upon. I love Cole. I love Zeke. I love the first Sons. I love the story that it told. I love Infamous 2 even more. And I was expecting something really special with Infamous Second Son. Because like, it looked really beautiful. The graphics were amazing. Just judging from the teaser trailer. The premise, I was kind of iffy about, because it just seemed like a retread of Infamous 2. But I was completely fine with it. But then everything just kind of went on a downward spiral once I got my hands on the game itself. Dude, dear God, was it such a mess. Dude, it's like, I'm not even kidding, it's Shadow of the Tomb Raider levels of bad.
Oh, fuck.
Like, dude, I mean, it kind of, gameplay kind of makes up for it. Because, like, the powers are really cool. But they just feel so undercooked. Like, first of all, smoke as a power, kind of iffy about that. It actually works really well in combat. Especially close quarters combat with smaller enemies. With bigger enemies, you have to use missiles and stuff like that, but you'll be fine. Neon. That's probably the best power of the game. But because you basically just get to shoot neon lasers out of your... You get to run super fast. You basically get to go super fast like the Flash for some reason. I didn't know Neon granted super speed, but I'll go with it. Or it works, right?
Yeah.
Video. Basically, digital manipulation. Or whatever it is. I don't even know how to describe it. But it's basically an offshoot of Cole's electricity powers. And it's probably the most overpowered power in the game. Because of, like, first of all, the melee attack is just like 2 swings at a time of a digital sword made out of pixels. And it does a lot of damage. And basically, I don't know how to describe it, the blast that you shoot out of your hands. They're OP as balls, too. So gameplay-wise, there's another power that's concrete, but I'm not going to count it as a complete power because they never really got to finish it. It was rushed. That's the problem.
Yeah.
And now I'm going to go into the story. I'm going to make this really short and really quick. The story sucked. It sucked. Like, holy shit did it suck. So bad. Like, compared to Infamous and Infamous 2, dog shit. Hold on, I'll be right back.
Okay, I guess I'll continue for him. But anyway, like, these two games had, Tomb Raider 2013 is debatable because it barely focuses on Trinity and more of a scavenger group. But Rise, it pretty much set up Trinity and all this other stuff for the third game. And I felt like it was going to be primarily for them. But it pretty much wasn't. Most of the game was pretty much just a village rebellion story. And it just felt so weak. Like, even the fucking movie did all this stuff better, and it combined the plots of both Tomb Raider and Rise of the Tomb Raider. And all that just to see Laura die and then come back for no reason. Such a bullshit ending for the series. not worth waiting.
Spoilers.
It's not worth waiting 5 years for. I'll tell you that.
Wow, it's really that bad.
Most disappointing game of 2018. And I thought Bendy and the Ink Machine was the most disappointing game of the year.
Yeah, Bendy was really disappointing with the ending.
It made no fucking sense, that's for sure.
No, it just decided to make it extremely open-ended, despite, like, how the entire game was, like, so straightforward.
Yeah. But yeah, Shadow of the Tomb Raider, it was such a fucking terrible ending for the series. Like, Jesus.
Yeah, like, just saying I hate it when, like, games go for, like, some extremely open-ended ending. Like, even Five Nights at Freddy's, one of the most confusing game series ever, sorta had a definitive ending to it.
Yeah.
In which you could actually tell what happens.
Yeah, I suppose. Dude, since the fucking movies are the new movie is gonna try to do a sequel, I hope to fucking God it doesn't go down the Shadow route. I hope it doesn't.
It probably won't, though video game movies have always been kinda rocky.
Oh yeah. Though I do like some because of personal bias. Yeah.
Especially that Sonic movie. That Sonic movie is something I am just
you're
completely worried about.
If you have Sonic in your name, I bet you're gonna be the first person in the theater to see the train wreck.
Most likely, yes. And there's probably gonna be a tie-in game, or at least I expect there to be.
Yeah.
Okay,
The
I'm
thing
back.
is, Sonic Twitter actually posted something like showing who the director is, and they said they've been hearing fan feedback. So who knows? This might not be a complete train wreck.
Put the word feedback in quotes.
Yeah.
Anyway,
I don't think.
let's let Leo
did I
take a
miss?
stand.
What did I miss?
Oh, me talking about how shitty Shadow of the Tomb Raider is.
Yeah, then
right.
we just started talking about open-ended endings, and then we're just on the Sonic movie.
Yeah. I don't know how to feel about the Sonic movie. It's just I'm scared that it's gonna be a mess.
It most
Oh my
likely
God.
is. Like, that poster is a mess.
It really is. It's horrific.
Literally,
But,
all of Twitter exploded the second that that poster was revealed.
They were just like, "What the fuck is this?" But yeah. Basically, going back to the topic of Second
Infamous.
Son.
Yeah.
Dude. First of all, the way they characterize Delson is basically just making him a rebel without a cause. We don't even get any insight as to why he's basically, what do you call it? I don't know how to basically describe it. A vandal. I don't know why they decided to make him a graffiti artist who breaks the law by just basically spray painting whatever he feels like all over the town of Salmon Bay, which is in Seattle. Which is
Sounds like the game Jet Set Radio.
Kinda. But yeah, and then there's his brother Reggie, who I'll be fair, he's actually an okay character. Not on the same level as Zeke, but he's actually pretty okay. I like the way that he's characterized. I like his chemistry with Delson. Obviously, they're brothers, so the way that Troy Baker and Travis Willingham just collide in terms of, like, you know, acting, their voice, and motion. They also did motion capture, I believe. So the way that they're characterized as brothers, it's actually kind of well done. So I'll give them a pass on that. Fun fact, Travis Willingham is actually the voice actor for Kingpin in Marvel Spider-Man. So that's pretty cool. And Laura Bailey was also in Second Son. She obviously played Mary Jane in Marvel Spider-Man 2. But in this game, she plays Fetch Walker, who I'm going to say right off the bat is a way better character than Delson.
Didn't she?
Simply because
Didn't she get her like a own story, like First Light? I think.
Yeah, she did, and it was leagues better than the story that was given to us in Second Son. Like, holy crap, way better. I enjoyed First Light a lot more than Second Son, simply because of the story.
Maybe I should play First Light.
Yeah, you probably should. It's actually kind of fun.
Is it a standalone game?
I think it is.
Awesome.
I think it is a standalone game. However, what confuses me is the fact that people consider, like, I feel like First Light is a good game. I don't know how to say this properly. I'm stuttering here, But I feel like it's a good enough game to be considered the real Infamous 3, while Second Son is just considered Infamous 4. I consider Second Son Infamous 4 because Infamous First Light is probably what should have come first. That's what should have come before Second Son. They should have focused on making Fetch a character and then making her a side character in Second Son. They should have been given more time to basically rebuild, basically make the story, work on the story, make it better than what it already was. Make Delsin a more effective character, actually have higher stakes, and make the map much larger, which is another problem I have with Second Son. Seattle is so unbelievably small. So small. Like, you could probably go throughout the entire city, like, using just the smoke power, which is the slowest power in the game. And you probably couldn't make it to, like, the other side of the city in, like, 3 or 5 minutes. Literally just using the smoke power. That's it. It's that small. The map is just embarrassingly small. The enemies and the side missions are so completely repetitive that it's mind-numbing. And for some reason that they try to establish some sort of connection between Delsin and Fetch, but it never really goes anywhere. Like, they try to make it seem like, oh, these two, they got a thing for each other, but not really, because it never really goes anywhere. All that's really implied is that they have sex, and then that's it.
Oh.
That's, yeah. Yeah, I'm guessing, like, it's just, like, it was, like, a one-time thing, which is understandable, because that's realistic. I mean, we're not going to act, on this show, we're not going to act like one-night stands aren't a thing, obviously.
Yeah.
But, like, the logic behind why it happened doesn't make any sense. Like, they've only known each other for, like, a day, at most.
That's, like, right to hell retribution levels of absurd.
Yeah, it is absurd. And basically, they try to the game basically tries to use the excuse that Delsin knows basically everything about her, simply because he gathered her memories simply by absorbing her powers, which is also one of his abilities. His main conduit ability is to absorb the powers of other conduits. But for some reason, when he does that, he also gathers their memories that basically goes over their backstory. Which is kind of that's plot convenience, obviously. But how do you gather memories from absorbing other people's powers?
I have no clue.
That makes no sense.
Simple answer. Plot.
Yeah, plot armor. Yeah. Plot convenience. And but yeah, like I said, Fetch is a better character than Delsin. League's better. But she was either treated as if you took the good route in Second Son, you'll make her into a less ruthless vigilante who takes down drug dealers. Or if you take the evil path, you'll make her just a ruthless serial killer who doesn't only kill drug dealers, but also anti-conduit protesters who have not done anything to conduits except call them names and blame them for problems of society. They never assault conduits. They're just protesters, right? If you take the evil path, you'll basically just make her, I guess, like a serial killer? More of a ruthless killer? A prolific killer, if you will.
Yeah. She's
just treated kind of horribly. Oh, and then there's another character I'll tell you about. Oh, Jesus Christ. Eugene Sims. Oh, man. The video conduit. Okay, now, this guy, when the game came out, he received a shit ton of hate, and Sucker Punch got lambasted for this for one simple reason. The way that they characterized his story made it seem like he didn't want to accept his powers. He didn't want to go back out in the open because he's a gamer.
Oh my god.
No, I'm serious. I'm serious. That's how bad it was. But really, the actual implication that Sucker Punch was going for was that he was scared of going out into the open world again, because he's obviously very reclusive in the game. The reason why he's scared of going back out into the open world is because, like, Augustine kept him. Augustine is the main villain, by the way, the concrete conduit. She imprisoned him in the conduit prison called Curtain K for 7 years, alongside Fetch and Hank, the smoke conduit, and a bunch of other conduits there. She basically imprisoned him and tortured him for 7 years. Now, that's a good enough reason to want to be reclusive, but the way that the writing was done made it seem like he was reclusive because he was a gamer.
Wow.
Like that's just one of his personality traits. Like I'm not even sure if you could even consider that a personality trait, being a gamer. Would you consider that a personality trait at all?
Personality trait. Gamer.
Some people consider their affiliation with Marvel or DC a personality trait.
That's embarrassing.
Oh God. But anyway.
Oh,
sorry.
Yeah, it's alright. It's alright. I'm almost done. So yeah, and I'm just gonna wrap it up. I'm not gonna spoil the game. Oh, well, technically, I already spoiled like a few parts. Like it doesn't really go. It doesn't really go very graphic with the aforementioned like sex. It's only implied, but it's just the way it's written is so really. It just doesn't make sense. It's so bad. It's bad. Delson is a bad character. Everyone else acts like a bunch of idiots. And I'm guessing Sucker Punch is moving on to a new IP called Ghost of Tsushima, which is I'm guessing it's a samurai game.
It is. Yeah.
Yeah.
It is.
Yeah, dude. So I'm praying that Infamous Second Son isn't the last game in the series, because if it is,
it'd be a shitty way to go.
It'd basically be Shadow of the Tomb Raider.
Yep.
It'd basically be Shadow of the Tomb Raider. That's what it'd be. A terrible ending to the series.
Yeah.
Like I said, what they should have done is make First Light the third game, the official third game. Go over Fetch's story, expand upon it, make her an even better character, because she was a good character, but I feel like she could have been done way better. And then the fourth game would go over Delson. Make him a better character than he already was. Make the map larger than life. Go crazy. Seriously, that's what Sucker Punch should have done.
We've been going for a while.
Yeah, no shit. But anyway, to wrap it up tonight, or no, not tonight. It's not fucking nighttime. Anyway, to wrap this all up, thank you all for tuning in. Again, we apologize for the lack of episodes, but hey, we're back and happy and ever. We may not come back for a little while, but hey, at least you know we're still out there.
Yeah.
We are still out here.
Rise, Venom.
And
Rise.
maybe in the next episode we'll talk about our plans for the future. Anyway,
hopefully.
We'll see you all later, and happy fucking birthday. Today is your birthday.
Oh yeah.
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 Bye-bye.